So can you freelance and build an agency business when there's economic turmoil, recession, and the markets are down, etc.? This is Alex Vitkin, and I'm here in the BMI HQ, aka the War Room, where we're looking at data and we're analyzing which niches work best for agencies, what freelancers should be selling. And here we're building agencies essentially based on data and based on real world results, not based on looking at the generic information out there. We're looking at what actually works, and we're building real businesses that make actual money, that have good cash flow. So generally people are more cautious during scary sounding news headlines. This is a fact. People are more careful with their money, and it's not exactly black and white. It's not this thing where there is scary news where the market is down and then suddenly no one buys. Here are examples of what's been happening last few years and what we saw based on our data with our existing businesses. So 2008, when the big depression was, that's when I started my business actually back in the day. People are buying websites, they were buying SEO, they were buying, digital services back then in the middle of the recession when the worst news was hitting. There was, the budgets were a little bit lower, but they were still buying services. That's what I remember from back then. It was definitely harder to close sales, but this was like a huge event, that took multiple years to get resolved. Then again, there was another significant event, which was COVID. So during COVID, we saw a little dip in some industries, but what happened was other industries like e-com went up because people were sitting at home and they were basically shopping around all day instead of going to their job. That's the best way to describe it. So we saw a dip in some industries and a huge rise in software, so automation, so people didn't have to show up at work. Companies were automating jobs, and people were buying lots of stuff from e-com sites, so e-com went up as well. And you can see it in the stock market price of Shopify as well. It's shot up during COVID. Then after COVID, after they printed out trillions of dollars, euros, and everything around the world, there was inflation and the fear of war spreading. So during that time, actually business improved for most agencies. You would have thought, oh, all this stuff is going on, so business will suffer. No, business improved. Things evened out a little bit after COVID. They stopped going up and down all the time, and it became very, very stable. So that was the year 2024, really. It was very stable. Prices were kind of going down for stuff, for expenses that agencies have, and clients had bigger and bigger budgets as the year moved on. And now with the stock market going down, okay, so now is the big question mark. What about all these things that are happening with stock market going down and this new taxes, tariffs, whatever you want to call them? Yeah, it's true. Small businesses are downstream from some of these events, but our benefit is we're more flexible as small business owners. So we can adjust to what businesses actually want. And primarily the types of businesses that get affected by what's going on right now are product businesses. So what we're running are service businesses, and service businesses are less affected. Currently, there's not even tariffs for services. So if you're worried about stuff like this, don't be. If you are selling to businesses that are selling products, physical products, yes, those will be affected. There's no doubt about that. So maybe selling to physical product businesses is harder for a while now, starting now. Maybe it'll be harder. We will look at the data. So far, we haven't seen that yet, but we will look at the data and we'll see what actually happens in the real world. But so far, so good. It's only a few months in so far. So my piece of advice to you, okay, if there's any advice in this video, here's the piece of advice. So focus on what you can affect, which is limited. If you start focusing on all the bad news in the world and all the things that are happening everywhere, then business becomes really difficult because you're focusing on things you can't actually control, which is pretty much just a panic. And if you panic, you're not really operating effectively. So what we tend to do with our businesses is we're focused on what we can control. We're sending out our proposals, we're getting on our sales calls, and we're running our business. And usually things are a lot less bad than what it sounds like if you turn on the news, especially mainstream news. What you want to do is you want to adjust to the current market situation, sell what is in demand, sell to companies that are still growing, and be aware that companies are still buying services like crazy. There's huge demand and it's been going up all year. Yeah, and if you have questions or if you want to chat to me directly, just hop over to businessmatter.com. I'm usually available for a little call. We can get to know each other. So see you in the next video.